Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are looking at a Cessna 172 Skyhawk by Cobi. So one of the interesting things here is this is actually a license, from everything I can tell, from Cessna through Cobi to come up with this model. It is a very impressive looking model. I'm not going to deny that. Looks very nice here in the pictures that I have seen. The only downfall I have seen so far is when we look in here, there's no room for an actual figure. So what I may end up doing is trying to rebuild this afterwards at a later time and maybe see if I can't get a figure, or if I just want to leave it alone, I might just leave it alone. I'm not 100% certain on what I want to do here. We'll see how this works out as far as building it to figure out exactly what I want to do. So let me get kind of seated down here. And it's nice that they even tell us roughly about what scale we're at. So your Lego figures are going to be roughly like a 150 scale, a 148 scale, so on and so forth. We've done some Cobis before here. Usually it was more military vehicles, but this is the first time I've done a Skyhawk. Now, the reason why I wanted the Skyhawk was just simply the fact of, we're getting towards summer, nice and warm outside. As I get this open. And of course, here in Wisconsin, that means that we have a certain air show that comes around. So I just thought it was kind of interesting trying to see what I could find for different planes, and I stumbled upon this. Now, this was bought on Amazon. I believe it was only about like $25, so not the most expensive. Looking at everything here. So as we look at everything, and of course, this is where some of the drawbacks do come in, because this is not a Lego set. Now, thankfully, it's only 162 pieces, so that's not too bad. The bad part is, as you can see, it's not like we have bag 1, bag 2, bag 3, but instead we have all these other bags with all the different pieces. So in that regard, it is going to be a little hunting and pecking at doing this. But all in all, not too bad. The only other thing I don't really have on hand, which, could be just one of those things I end up doing. Usually when I'm doing it on a small table like this, I'll get a box or whatever, a small box I can just put all the pieces into, and then we can build. Normally when I'm on a pool table, which I still have so full of other things, I don't have to worry about it. But seeing that I'm doing it here on a small table like this, it becomes more of an issue. And we'll just kind of go from there. So without further ado, we do have printed instructions. I'm going to flip this around, and you'll be able to watch me. We'll get this put together, and then we'll kind of do a little review on it, and we will go from there. Okay, so looking at what we have here now, it's a nice build, but there are some issues here that I have. So if you're looking at getting this, it is a very nice looking plane, although it is not the most durable. I think you just may have seen. I know going through fairly quick. I did inadvertently knock the tail off, and the way the tail sits, these are just extra pieces sitting on the side, and these are just on here loosely. If I keep this together the way it is, I will most likely end up gluing these on, so that way I know I don't lose any pieces. The tail here, this is out a little bit, so as far as that sits, not really the best. I wanted to move it up, and that's when everything started falling apart. So, we have that on both sides here, just kind of saying it's not a bad thing, but it just is the way it is. Now, the only other issue I've got connecting the wings here. Now, these are extra struts. I know it's actually on the Cessna. It's not a bad thing, but they're not sitting in there as good as I really want them. That's one. Two, I needed a 1x4 plate, and I got a 1x5, so I moved that over a little bit. Not really what I wanted to do, but it's just kind of how things have to end up. I think I just got one piece that I wasn't supposed to get and swapped out with a different one. So I'm happy I was able to get that all together. I was kind of hoping I'd find the 1x4, but I couldn't find it. And I found a 1x5. Been holding on to it, thinking that it's going to need to go somewhere at some point. But here it is at the end. This does work, although I will be honest, in my little mind here, this could have been beefed up a little bit more. And it is interesting how we were working, and they have kind of reverse pieces here to try and get all of this to work out quite right. The way it sits, I don't have a figure here myself, but if I actually had a figure, I think this would actually be the right size for not really a Cessna, or actually maybe I need to relook at the 172, but maybe more like a Piper Cub, something along that line, because it's very narrow. My thought of the Cessna 172 is it is wide enough for two people to sit side by side, as well as a two-passenger in the back. And if I'm thinking of it correctly, I've been in one of these and I flew many years ago, and it was quite a bit of fun. My father had a friend that was a pilot, so we were able to do that. It's not a bad model. It's just a little bit off in a couple spots. Nicely done in a lot of regards. I'm not going to knock it too much because they're thinking in a whole different dynamics than what I was thinking. Although I would say if I do redo this, which I might yet, I'm a little on the fence because I've got another set I'm not overly happy with. If I tear that apart and make this a little bit wider, I think we could do this. I might just make it big enough so I could have two people in front and back, kind of like how a lot of the Lego cars kind of are. So I'd go 5 wide instead of just being the 3. So it's not going to be too offset, and I might redo the wings a little bit. Maybe beef them up a little bit more and kind of go from there. But as it sits and as it is right now, it's not that bad. A couple things to maybe modify or whatever, but all in all, not a real bad setup. Just kind of wish I would have been able to get this fixed up a little bit more than what it is. It's not sitting in there quite right, and I guess I have it now. But now I'm a little leery because I've already kind of knocked the tail apart a little bit. Am I going to do that again? That's my biggest concern. Or I could just leave this the way it is, consider this as just a smaller version, and try and come up with a bigger version of my own. One way or the other, I might try and do something along that line, but we'll see how I manage. So with that being said, thank you so very much for joining me today. Remember, this is a set that I did get off of Amazon, so if you happen to look up Lego Skyhawk. That's how I kind of came across this. Being honest, I was kind of looking up like the G.I. Joe Skyhawk or even the small Skyhawk jet. What is it? The F4? No, F4 is Phantom. I can't remember what the F does. Or no, it's an A4. F is fighter, A is attack. So it's an A4 Skyhawk fighter jet is what I was really kind of looking for, and I came across it on this. So again, with that being said, thank you so very much for joining me. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.